and welcome to this edition of Concordia Reports, coming from the EV building at Concordia's downtown campus. I'm Ozzy Michelin.
And I'm Emma Legault. On today's show, how do the homeless deal with our harsh winters? And Tessa Bourdon takes a look at a new and trendy kind of fundraising.
But first, winter is nearing, and Montreal bar and restaurant owners are wondering where have all their customers gone. Could the smoking ban be responsible for this drop in sales? With more, here comes Caroline Fernandez.
Lighting one up was fine for summer terraces. However, Peter Sagakis is sure the smoking ban is bringing down his business this winter.
I see now the winter has come. In the summer, there were drop in businesses, but not as much as now because people, it's cold outside. We did some studies and they're going to the grocery store and they're buying a case of beer and they're going to their houses, they're smoking and they poison the kids with a cigarette in the house. Yes, it's a reality. Here at least is 18 years and over. The adults in the houses, the kids, 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 years old, they go home and they have with their friends and they're smoking in the house. Well, if there is a second-hand health issue, well, the kids are going to get sick.
Sagakis is the president of the Bar Owners Union. He believes that if bar owners could build smoking rooms, their businesses would not suffer from the ban.
Okay. And when I came here, there were a lot of closures, a lot of people going bankrupt, and a lot of people were laid off from the bars. What happens is they come in, they have a beer, they go out to smoke, they come back, and the second time around they take their coat and they're leaving. Because it becomes a pain, you know, all the time. Put your coat on, go outside, come back, blah, blah, blah.
On Monday, Sagakis will ask for a suspension on the ban until next year when he challenges the ban itself. He's bringing together bar owners and employees to demonstrate outside the court. For Concordia Reports, I'm Caroline Fernandez.
If you oppose the smoking ban, you can demonstrate alongside bar owners this Monday at the Montreal courthouse.
I don't smoke that much, so I can just go out, have a cigarette, and I have my coat with me in the bar, whereas in clubs, everything's at the coat check, so then you basically freeze yourself outside in your like little chemise and smoking when it's like -20.
I just don't like to be outside when I smoke. I mean, if anything, it's going to help me quit, but I would like to keep smoking and where I want to.
No, I don't think you should be smoking in general, but there used to be places where they had a closed smoking section and they canceled that. That I'm against. I mean, you're in a small aquarium smoking by yourself. Yeah, it's a lot of smoke. It's only going to harm smokers, and that's fine.
Winter can be unbearable for some Montrealers, especially those who are homeless. Our own Stephanie Sturgiotis takes a closer look at why this winter may be harder for those who are living on the streets.
Imagine sleeping outside in -35-degree weather. Imagine using the metro floor as a mattress. Most Montrealers can't even relate to these scenarios, but this is reality for more than 20,000 people living in this city. Darren and Sid have been living on the street for most of their lives. They spend their days looking through trash and asking for money.
Panhandle, eat, sleep, wander around, look in the garbage, find a place to sleep, safe, where we feel safe, and go to bed. Wake up, do it all over again until we leave town and go travel.
Marie-André Baudouin is an executive committee member of Community and Social Affairs. She says the City of Montreal will continue helping their homeless along the same lines as last year.
Well, you see, in 2007, during the winter, the City of Montreal will be able to provide the same service as we did in 2006, which means that every single homeless person will be able to have a place, a shelter during the winter, every day, every night.
However, this year is a little different. In September, the Borough of Ville-Marie decided to ban homeless people from sleeping in their parks. Police now give $35 tickets to anybody found in public areas from midnight to 6 a.m. But Baudouin says this will not affect the current situation of Montreal's shelters.
But we can, if there's a need for more beds, it's easy for us because we have a good collaboration with these shelters, and we can offer more beds for people who need a place during winter, during 1, 2, or 3 nights.
René Lacroix is the head coordinator of resident services at the Old Brewery Mission, Montreal's largest shelter. He says they're prepared for the coming winter.
Communautaire qui travaille auprès de la population itinérante à Montréal et même ailleurs au Québec et au Canada.
Lacroix says all of Montreal's shelters have received extra funding in order to improve their institutions. The Old Brewery Mission has added additional beds, and they're well equipped for this winter. Currently, the Old Brewery can accommodate up to 400 men with a separate shelter exclusively for women. Lacroix says they have private rooms for $325 a month, which include 3 meals a day, and they also have 250 beds for people walking in off the street. Surprisingly, there are a number of homeless people who refuse to go to the shelters, even in the middle of winter. There are a number of rules to follow that a lot of them prefer sticking to the street. In fact, Sid, who's been homeless since he was 13 years old, has only been in a shelter once.
I used a shelter once because the cops made me go in because it was too cold, they said. They said it was either you go to the shelter or you go to jail. And I tried to go into the shelter, but because I didn't want to give him my pocket knife and let him go through my backpack and all that, because I felt violated. That's my house, everything I own, you know. It's personal stuff, and so they wouldn't let me stay there, so I just ended up leaving. That was pretty much, I stayed in there for a couple hours. Like, whatever, I'm leaving, because I didn't want, they're like, well, you're going to have to stay in the front part, you know, not go to a bed. So finally I just got, excuse me, wait, I was pissed off, and I was like, screw you guys, and just left and found an overhang. Actually, I slept in a parking garage, so it wasn't even that cold.
For Concordia Reports, I'm Stephanie Tsirgiotis.
Coming up in the show, we find out that there's more than one way to recycle.
Tomorrow, on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, Canadians will be asked to pause for 1 minute of silence and remember the thousands of men and women who sacrificed their lives in combat. The timing signifies the end of the First World War on November 11th at 11 a.m. People in Montreal have already begun sending tributes around the city. The poem In Flanders Field inspired the use of poppies as the flowers of Remembrance Day.
How can the average pop can tab make a difference in someone's life? With more, here's Alad Zlodlo.
Natural Resources Canada says over 2 billion used beverage cans are collected every year. But more so are the tabs. Alan Dean has been collecting tabs for almost a decade. Even after surviving a stroke that left the former pilot blind, he wasn't discouraged. Now he takes them to Mount Sinai Hospital for a good cause.
I got all kinds of people saving them. I've got the grocery store clerks and everybody else telling people, oh, did you save the cabs? You're putting them in the machine. You're taking them back. Save the cabs.
Aline Bank is the auxiliary coordinator and says tabs come from near and far, but they have to be checked.
And if the machine, one bike goes towards the magnet, the shipment, the whole thing goes in the garbage. That means they do not give us a check.
But all the tabs have to be aluminum. This is because aluminum can be recycled over and over without losing its physical, chemical, and structural properties.
Past year, from June 1st to 5 to May 31st to 6, we got over $1,100 worth of tabs. Now, we accumulate this amount with the previous year and for the next year until we get the full amount for a piece of equipment.
The American Iron and Metal Company is one of the few in Montreal that accepts tabs. Here they are packaged in bigger containers and shipped to the melting company. But why separate the tab from the can? Well, the tap is clean and easy to recycle, but cans have to be checked for residues, and some companies want to avoid that process. After the taps are melted, the aluminum sheets bring cans and taps back to life, and the cycle continues. With the tap collection program, the hospital has bought wheelchairs and other equipment. While it may seem tedious to collect a substantial amount of taps, it's these many little gestures that can help change lives. For Concordia Reports, I'm Awakwedlodlo.
Stay tuned. There's more Concordia Reports coming up after the break.
Look inside, you'll find a deeper love.
A group of students are trying to oust the CSU executive. They're passing around a petition in the hopes of collecting enough names that they'll trigger a January election. The CSU has been under a lot of heat since former executive Taylor Noakes accused them of foul play. Noakes says that the CSU colluded with the administration in order to win the previous election and censored school media.
Côte-des-Neiges, Notre-Dame-de-Grâce is the most densely populated borough on the island of Montreal. With an immigrant population of 44%, it is also one of the most diverse. The average age in the borough is younger than the city average and is getting younger still. This is why the NDG-based youth empowerment organization, Head in Hands, is creating a magazine to reach out to the borough's changing population called Migrant or Local, We Are Vocal.
It's being called virtuous consumerism or cause marketing. You buy something and a portion of the proceeds go to charity. Product Red is the newest incarnation of this phenomenon. But do consumers really know how much of the profit is going to those in need? With her thoughts on the matter, here's Tessa Bourdon.
Last year, about 2 million people died of AIDS in sub-Saharan Africa. While governments are increasing spending on prevention and treatment programs, the situation is worsening. But guess who's coming to the rescue? Corporate America and everyone's favorite rock star with a cause, Bono. The U2 frontman and Kennedy cousin Bobby Shriver have teamed up with the Gap, Motorola, Apple, Converse, Amex, and Armani to launch Product Red. Companies pay to use the Product Red trademark, and a portion of the proceeds from the sales of products holding the designation will go to the Global Fund to Fight AIDS. A noble cause indeed, but how much of the proceeds are actually going to fight AIDS? This information is not easily procured. According to Tara Wickwire, Senior Public Relations Manager at the Gap, up to 50% of profits from Product Red merchandise will go to the Global Fund. In reality, this can mean anywhere from 1 to 50% of profits. So on a $395 shoe put out by Converse, about $15 goes to the Global Fund. After administration costs, only a few dollars goes to those who need it. The fact is, Product Red is not a charity. It's a business model, cause-driven marketing. Corporations exploit suffering to sell a product. They get publicity, improve their bottom line, and gain a corporate halo in the process. Yes, Product Red will raise money to help people suffering with HIV/AIDS. Yes, consumers will get a warm, fuzzy feeling when they charge their cards. Yes, I want a red iPod. But what does this say about our society? Could we not forego the red and simply donate to a legitimate and well-administered charity? If you do buy Product Red, try not to get too carried away by the warm, fuzzy feeling. Because when you get down to it, for corporations taking part in the campaign, Product Red is just another way to make green. For Concordia Reports, I'm Tessa Bourdon.
Entertainment reporter Laura Casella joins us live from our Concordia studios. So Laura, big weekend for concerts in Montreal, isn't it?
Yes, Emma, it sure is. Montreal welcomes Sir Elton John tomorrow night at the Bell Centre at 8 p.m. This is part of Elton John's The Captain and the Kid Tour, also the name of his 44th and latest album. Meanwhile, Canadian rock band The Tragically Hip performed their second of 2 shows at the Metropolis tonight. The show begins at 9 p.m. You can purchase last-minute tickets at the Metropolis, which opens at 4 o'clock later today, or call 514-908-9090.
So how else can Montrealers enjoy themselves this weekend?
Well, how does the movie sound? Films such as Come Early Morning starring Ashley Judd and A Good Year starring Russell Crowe each open today. But my pick for this weekend is Stranger Than Fiction, a comedy about a novelist played by Emma Thompson, who struggles to complete her latest book. She only has to kill off her main character, Harold Crick, played by funny man Will Ferrell. But Harold is really alive in the real world and hears her every word.
The heavens in futility.
No, I'm not. I'm cursing you, you stupid voice, so shut up and leave me alone!
This has to be Will Ferrell at his best. The movie also stars Queen Latifah, Maggie Gyllenhaal, and Dustin Hoffman. Have a great weekend, everyone. Back to you, Emma.
Thanks, Laura. We'll be right back after this.
Here is your Concordia Reports community update for Friday, November 10th. This past Saturday, the Sir George Williams Alumni Association organized its 14th annual Bowl-a-thon, the Rose Bowl on St. Jacques. 17 teams of students and alumni both bowled to raise money for the student scholarships at Concordia. Along with door prizes and other activities, the event raised approximately $4,000. Well, that's all we have for this edition of Concordia Reports.
We hope you enjoyed it. I'm Emma Legault.
And I'm Ozzy Michelin. See you next time.
Open up your heart, what do you feel? Open up your heart, what do you feel? Is it real? The Big Bang may be a million years away, but I can't think of a better time